Everybody, I'm here with our 2023 Distinguished Educator Hall of Fame inductee, Ann Mowery. Ann taught at Bay High from 1985 to 2015. She taught AP Physics, Math, Physical Science, and is somewhat of a legend to a whole group of people. If you got a chance to read all her nomination forms, we'll get into in a few minutes what made her classes so dynamic. And I heard a little bit about this at the brunch the other day with the various machinery and everything. But Ann, let's start with your arrival at Bay High. How is it that you came to teach at Bay High?
Well, it started in the spring of 85. I filed some letters of inquiry, and Bay was one of those 5 letters of inquiry, and the principal at the time, Richard Townsend, saved that letter of inquiry. Wasn't aware that a physics teacher was going to go on sabbatical for 85, 86, and that request went through in June, and there was a call to my home, and I was told to call Richard Townsend that evening. And next day, after teaching at Rocky River High School, I showed up here, filled out the application during the interview. Next interview was with Maynard Bauer.
Wow.
And basically give my philosophy of education, what criteria that I had to meet the job expectations, and basically talk a little bit about my golf game for a good portion of the interview. And then the next day I was back in Dick Townsend's office, and he had the contract there, and he asked me to sign on the dotted line, and I was a little hesitant. It was going so fast for me, and I looked at the salary, and I paused, and he said, well, it'll get better in the long run, and he had this real cheesy grin, and it just made me want to believe that, yes, if I spent 30 years at Bay, it would be better. So that is the basic nutshell of the story. However, when I was in high school, at Lorain High School, I would read newspapers, and Bay schools were always well-regarded, activities, clubs, sports, academics. And back in 77, 78, I said if I came back to this area and wanted to teach, I wanted to be at Bay High.
Wow, what a great
I know, and I would always tell my students that this is the good bubble of life. And I chose to bring my adulthood here. And it was a wonderful, terrific career.
Oh, that's a great statement. And we won't hold the Rocky River thing against you.
Yeah, I did have a little bit of Rocky River before I came here. And I did my student teaching at Avon Lake High School, so I was a shoreman for a while.
Well, we'll consider those the minor leagues once you finally get to Bay.
All right.
So the golf game, that's really funny. That's what Maynard, but that obviously is a testament to what your resume said and what you are. So you talked about a teacher going on a sabbatical. That was a fairly well-known, highly respected teacher at Bay that was here for a long time.
Yes, it was. It was Timothy Wagner. I taught with Tim for 9 years, and it was clear, he was in about his 25th, 26th year. I believe he stayed 35 to 38, somewhere in that range. And it was no doubt that he was old school, and I was partly sort of old school, but the new wave, and so I followed him for years and created my own niche, and he began the AP Physics as a lunch hour program. And then after he retired in 94, it took about 95, 96 for it to become an actual curriculum with a class. Mm-hmm. And then the AP Physics B and the AP Physics C took off right before we went to block scheduling in 98, 99.
Got it.
But Tim was a wonderful man.
He had a great reputation.
I admired him a lot. He wrote me letters after he retired saying he had to be a nut to teach physics with all the lab prep and paper grading and everything else. But yeah, we're all nuts as physics teachers.
Well, you were obviously a very good one, because that's what put you in our Hall of Fame, in the respect of the students.